Hi, everyone. It's Peter Kraut of Silver Advisor with another episode of Pay Dirt Podcast, where we interview management of companies that we recommend, but also personally own, track, and report on. And today I am with Marcio Fonseca, who is president and CEO of GR Silver. Marcio, thanks for speaking with us today about the exciting developments at GR Silver.
Thank you, Peter, for having me here today and to tell the audience all the upcoming catalysts and how we are going to continue to transform GeoSilver in 2026.
Well, I am looking forward to it, so why don't we jump right in? Marcio, I'd like to ask you about your plans specifically. This year I think will be a landmark year, transformational year for GR Silver. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about that. You're fully funded, you're going to be doing a lot of drilling, and you have a lot of other things going on. Maybe you can speak to some of those points.
For sure, as we released on January 15th, Thursday, the guidance for the company, we are embarking in a very aggressive drilling program at the San Marcial area. To give an example, we are about to start drilling multiple drill rigs, 20,000 meters of drilling in 2026, and that's going to drive us to an upcoming resource estimation in this year in the San Marcial area. Not only expanding the resource that was done in 2023, but also drilling parallel breccias, new discoveries. So the catalyst is really something that's exciting us a lot because we are very oriented to resource growth, increasing grade, and show to the market that we have a large silver predominant deposit at San Marcial. At the same time, as we all know, it's very important to have permits in mine operations. And the Plomosas area that's next to San Marcial, 5 kilometers, has most of the permits. We have completed the engineering studies for the bulk sample test mining, some design for a pilot plant, and all the metallurgical test work. In the upcoming weeks or months, we are going to release more results about the metallurgical test work on the Plomosas mine. But we are now looking, what's the best option? Build a pilot plant, buy a pilot plant, or do a combination. And this is going to be another catalyst for the company because likely to re-rate the company from a development for a quasi or maybe production style company at small scale, but it's important. And putting all this together and looking that we are engaging very soon engineers to do a preliminary economic assessment for the first time, combining San Marcial and Plomosas, at these current silver prices, you can imagine what kind of NPV might be likely coming out of a preliminary economic assessment of a high-grade silver project in Mexico.
So lots of catalysts, lots of drivers, very exciting times. Not to mention the fact, as you said, we're in a totally new silver price environment. I mean, silver is nearly triple where it was, or in fact, it is triple where it was about a year ago. And that does so much for repricing projects, repricing deposits. Maybe you can speak a little bit to that, what that does for your path to restart production at GR Silver in, an $80, $90 silver price environment when, these things look really attractive at $40.
Sure. When you look at what's happening today, we all have been very strong believers that the silver price was about to really suffer some corrections, but there's still space here for more continued increase in the silver price because the demand in relation for silver continues to increase with the new energy. But going back to one of your key points in your question about what's the impact of the silver price for the company, for GR Silver, keep in mind that the 2023 resource was done at $22 per ounce of silver, the 134 million ounces of silver equivalent. And we are almost doubling now the amount of drilling that we have done in the San Marcial area. Even if the silver price has a small correction to the 60, 70, think about what's going to be the impact in this company as we move to a PEA. And today, we are valued probably at $1, $1.50 per ounce in the ground. And silver price is $80 for 90 today, 92 close per ounce. If this is looking at all the analysts, what they're saying, not that difficult to think about a valuation of $4 or $5 per ounce in situ. So we can do the calculations. If the current resource, 134 million ounces of silver equivalent indicated and inferred, at 4 or 5 times, you can see that the multiple on the market cap of this company is there. And that's going to really impact the company very positive in the next 6 to 9 months.
Yeah, great points that you brought up. Hard not to be excited about the potential. The economics for the first time they really seem to show the full potential for your project. And maybe you can speak to what that might bring for us in the second half of 2026.
Yeah, when we talk about preliminary economic assessment, it's how to really have the two underground potential projects, the San Marcial and Plomosas, working together, because we can use the synergies of existing permits at Plomosas to really start something at Plomosas, but also facilitate the expansion to bring a much larger project from San Marcial, which is 5 kilometers. When you look at future project developments, most of mining projects require a lot of capital to build. And this is already in the Plomosas area, power lines, some buildings, road, water permit. So how to combine this and make a much smaller capex project with much higher return, particularly at these silver prices, no? And in addition to this, it's very important to make the audience aware that San Marcial is very unique because this 85% of the metal content, it's silver.
That's
I would be,
interesting. Yeah,
I
that's
would not, sorry, I would not even be surprised that it can be defining a project in the next 1 year or 1.5 years that can produce a silver doré instead of concentrate, which is high. There's a high premium. So that's why we are all excited about the combination and working together with those two areas.
That's a great point. About the 85% of the deposit being silver. Silver deposits, they vary so much, and this is a rarity. From my experience, this is a rarity in this space. So many times you have deposits that are maybe 40%, 50% silver, and the market is more than willing to consider them silver deposits, and yet it's less than half. Here you have 85% of the deposit is silver. That's just tremendous, and that really speaks to this being quite close to being a pure silver deposit.
True. And last year we were successful when we applied a lot of the knowledge and we went back to drilling. When we drilled 75 meters at 260 grams per ton of silver, we proved to the market and to the audience that we now have a better handle of the continuity of the mineralization. That's why we are very, very aggressive about to start a 20,000 meters drilling program to really expand the footprint of the resource, because we want to continue to have this type of intersections. And we have just hired engineers and to work with people that have worked at San Dimas, Los Filos, to work with us, big deposits, to find a way to work together to do the PEA of the San Marcial and Plomosas together.
Fantastic. One sort of last point, Marcio, if I may, one thing that also makes GR stand out is liquidity. The company trades big volumes on the TSXV, and that's something that people maybe don't always realize, but that is key. There's also the fact that you're fully cashed up. Maybe you can speak to those two aspects and how that will help you perform in 2026.
So in the last 6, 7, 8, 9 months, the new management has been very active marketing to really make the story, the public aware of the story. And we've been very frequently in the top 10 most trading companies on the TSXV, volume the 5, 6, 7, 8 million shares per day. And that shows that liquidity is a factor it's available, it's there, it's a proof now that people are really interested in the story and buying. And another point that has been very important is the increase in the institutional participation in the company. When we took the management took the leadership and start marketing the company, we used to have less than 10% of institutions in this company. Today we are north of 20. Even the well-known silver players in the market are participating in GR Silver. So for new investors to understand that we are creating a very solid shareholder base that's supported by strong liquidity in the market.
Excellent. Unfortunately, time is short, but we've done a good job, I think, of giving people an overview of what's coming and where we are and what to look forward to. I like to end these interviews, Marcio, with maybe an anecdote, something that you can tell us, an interesting either experience or event, and somehow how that relates to mining, how it relates to GR Silver, and just whatever comes to mind.
For sure. I'm going to tell about my experience when the first time I walked over the outcrop in San Marcial. I had a couple of geologists telling me that they didn't believe there was a silver project below the outcrop because silver would be very shallow and very superficial. And looking at the rocks with other geologists that I brought with me, it's impossible for you to have 20, 30 meters wide on the surface and not have good continuity. And at that time, we had 10 million ounces at the San Marcial area. So we see today, we've been very clear on the vision that we are dealing with a silver discovery that can be a potential world silver class discovery in Mexico. And we are going to be working on that situation to bring that value to investors.
That's great. I mean, already with over 134 million ounces silver equivalent, you're already in that I guess exclusive group that has these sizes of deposits. We're talking 85% of the resource being silver, and we're talking, on the higher grade side. So you've already got something quite special. Marcio, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us. You've given us a fantastic introduction to not only GR Silver, but where things are heading and what potential there is, which is, very exciting. We'll watch for ongoing news from you, and let's look to catch up soon.
Thank you very much.